Good afternoon, esteemed judges, respected opponents, and valued audience. Today, we stand firm in our belief that the current Philippine laws provide adequate protection for intellectual property. The Intellectual Property Code of the Republic Act number 8293, along with its subsequent amendments, establishes a comprehensive framework for safeguarding copyrights, trademarks, patents, and other forms of intellectual property. This framework includes provisions for registrations, enforcement, and penalties against infringement. The Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or the IPOPHL, actively works to implement and enforce these laws. Furthermore, ongoing efforts to strengthen the enforcement and raise public awareness demonstrate government's commitment to protecting intellectual property. While challenges remains, the existing legal frameworks provides a solid foundations for protecting the legal rights of creators and innovators of the Philippines.
Good afternoon, judges, opponents, and audience. We argue that current Philippine law do not adequately protect intellectual property. While the law itself may appear comprehensive on paper, its implementation and enforcement are severely lacking. Rampant piracy, counterfeiting, and online infringement to continue to plug the Philippine market, stifling innovation and harming legitimate businesses. The Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, despite its effort, faces resources, constraints, and bureaucratic hurdles that hinders effective enforcement. Moreover, the legal system often struggles with delays in intellectual property cases. The fast pace of technological advancement, especially the digital realm, necessitates a more agile and responsive legal framework. The current law simply cannot keep up with the evolving challenges, leaving creators and innovators vulnerable.
Our opponents highlight challenges in enforcement, but these challenges are not unique to the Philippines. Many countries grapple with similar issues. However, the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines is actively addressing this through initiatives like strengthening collaboration with law enforcement agencies and enhanced online monitoring. While delay in legal proceeding exit, this is a systematic issue within the judiciary, not solely a reflection on intellectual property law.
Furthermore, the claims that the laws are unable to keep up with technology advance is a overstatement. The Intellectual Property Code includes provision for addressing emerging technologies and amendment that can introduce to address the specific gaps as they arise. The STEM work but needs to constant improvement, not a wholesale replacement.
The affirmative side claims that the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines is addressing enforcement issues. But the reality is that the rate of piracy and counterfeiting continue to be alarmingly high. Collaboration with law enforcement is inefficient when resources are limited and corruption persists. The legal system's delays are particularly detrimental to intellectual property cases, where rapid innovation and market changes demand swift action. The affirmative is reliance on future amendments is a tacit admission that the current laws are inadequate.
The code may have provision for emerging technologies, but those provisions are often unclear and lack specific guidelines for enforcement in the digital age. The pace of digital piracy outpaces the legal system reaction time. The damage is done before case is even heard.
The negative side paints a picture of a complete ineffectiveness, but this ignorance of the sex of the intellectual property of the Office of the Philippines and registering and protecting numerous intellectual property rights. They also fail to acknowledge the growing public awareness campaigns that are educating consumers about the importance of respecting intellectual property.
While challenges remain, the system is not broken. It is a work in progress, and ongoing efforts are being made to strengthen enforcement and address emerging threats. To say that the system is broken is an overstatement.
The successes of the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines and registration are meaningless if those rights cannot be effectively enforced. Public aware campaigns are valuable, but they are not substitute for robust legal mechanisms and effective enforcement. The sheer volume of intellectual property infringement demonstrate the inadequacy of the current laws. The system is indeed broken for those whose livelihood depends on intellectual property. The system is slow and the criminals are fast.
In conclusion, while we acknowledge the challenges in implementing and enforcing intellectual property laws in the Philippines, we maintain that the current legal framework provides a solid foundation for protecting the rights of creators and innovators. The Intellectual Property Code, along with the efforts of the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, established a comprehensive system for registration, enforcement, and penalties. Ongoing efforts to strengthen enforcement and raise public awareness demonstrate the government's commitment protecting intellectual property. We must continue to improve and refine the system, but we shouldn't dismiss the progress that we have been made.
Ladies and gentlemen, our debate has made it clear that while Philippine intellectual property laws may seem comprehensive, their real-world effectiveness is severely lacking. Rampant piracy, counterfeiting, and slow enforcement prove that the current framework is inadequate in protecting creators and business. So, the affirmative side argues that improvements is an admission that the system is not yet sufficient. The pace of technological advancement and digital infringement demands a more agile and responsive legal system, one that can truly protect intellectual property in a rapidly evolving landscape. Until enforcement is significantly strengthened, Philippine intellectual property laws remain insufficient.